Mr. President, thank you so much for being with us. We've seen civilians hit along these well-known evacuation routes from Ukrainian cities. Do you believe the Russians are targeting civilians?
Definitely, and we have absolutely clear evidence of that because our battalion, you see the soldiers of this battalion, yesterday and day before yesterday was responsible for the evacuation from Bucha, Gostomel, and Irpin. We evacuate 2,500 children and women, and we see with our own eyes the attack with the mortar and artillery, the civilians who trying to leave the city. And this is the act of the bloody butcher killer Putin. And we see that, for example, the mayor of Gostomel, Mr. Yuri Prilipka, and two volunteers, his name Ivan Zorya and Ruslan, we know them. They were killed during the distribution of food and medicine, direct fire. And that is happening. Again, the same situation in Bucha, when people trying to assist civilians with the humanitarian aid was directly killed by Russian soldiers. And we have a family who go into our bus, which was protected with our soldiers. They open artillery fire, and the family, the father, mother, and two children, right in front of our battalion, were killed. It's impossible to see that, and this is they try to erase the whole cities. The same humanitarian situation is in Mariupol, in Kharkiv, in Chernigiv, and this is the picture much worse than in Aleppo. Very similar when, like in Stalingrad during the Hitler attack, and this is no any difference. And I want to thank CNN, all the Western media, just for demonstrating the truth about Russian. And this is just to make more responsibility for the Putin, which definitely will appear on the Hague International Criminal Court. And we have another things. Yesterday, it was hit several Russian military jets. And the pilot, Russian pilot, which were in this jet, they give the evidence that it is the same pilot who bombing Syria. Now they bombing Nikolaev, Kharkiv, and Irpin. We have a soldier who hit Su-30 Russian military jet, and they delivering the evidence about that. This is the real war. This is the real blood. This is the real victims, Ukrainian civilians. And the number of these victims is hundreds and hundreds of civilians who were killed by Russian artillery fire, Russian tanks, and Russian crazy soldiers who was directed by another complete mad man who names Putin. And definitely this is the war not against Ukraine, and everybody should understand that. This is the war against collective West. This is the war against US. This is the war against NATO. This is the war against Europe. This is the war against the whole world. And he wants to destroy not only Ukraine. He wants to destroy our values. He wants to destroy any nation in European continent. And that's why when you assist in Ukraine by supplying defensive weapons, by supplying the rocket launcher, which we spend in that, and we need new just to keep the level of Ukrainian army on the same level. We definitely need, and this is my special request, we need a jet swap. We please supply to the Poland, to the Germany, to Slovak Republic, the jet from NATO, and deliver us old Soviet planes. We don't need your soldiers. We don't need your pilots. We need just jets to keep the airspace above us secured. The airspace above the nuclear power station, airspace above the civilians, and airspace about Ukraine.
You're
and
talking
by
about...
the way, in US,
hang on.
1 second, just in
Okay.
US, 70% of the people support it. In Europe, 70% of the people support it. We are a democratic nation. Please, let's at least do the decisive decision.
You're
Thank you.
talking about getting MiGs from Poland and then replacing the MiGs in Poland with other planes, sending those MiGs into Ukraine so they can be used there. Just so people know the areas you're talking about, these cities that have been hit, where civilians have been hit, they're just outside Kyiv right now. Mr. President,
Yep.
you've been on the streets in the territorial defense. Do you have a sense that the Russians are closing in on Kyiv this morning?
The decisive and brave Ukrainian soldiers giving their blood and giving their lives to keep Russia on the same distance. But Russia increasing the pressure on Kyiv. 40 minutes ago, returned back from Vasilkov, where we delivered the weapons and equipment and ammunition and uniform to the battalion of the territorial defense SCIF to try to protect us from this direction. We have a 206 battalion to keep it on the Gostomel and Bucha direction. Unfortunately, we have losses, and we lost one Ukrainian hero yesterday and one Ukrainian hero from our battalion the day before yesterday. And this is the real fighting. And with that situation, definitely, we still keeping the Russian troops on the position. But we have 17 cruise missiles just only for Kyiv, together with the air bomb, and definitely we need to have to protect our combat capabilities from the air. But definitely the situation is quite difficult, and we need for that weapons. And by the way, we need for that sanction. And again, 50% of Americans consider that sanction is not enough. And every single day, while Putin keep the possibility to attack us, he should know that every single day sanction would start to be stronger and stronger. For example, why we should finance Putin through the buying, even with a discount, the Russian Urals oil. With that situation, I think this is simply immoral. Putin should definitely hit by embargo of oil. Why the Europe pay for them dollars for supplying the Russian gas? Every single dollar, European or transnational corporation paid to Putin, this dollar would be spent for killing us, Ukrainian. We shouldn't allow that. We should keep together. And we are very much admired with the United States, with the leadership of the President Biden, with your leadership, with the leadership of your administration, of your Congress. Let's do not stop. Let's go further. This is the moment of truth. And with this moment of truth, Putin should take the place he is definitely ordered for all this crime, for all his crime.
Former Ukrainian President Petro Poroshenko, thank you for being with us this morning.